Dad.
How would Tino
Since you remind me.
Antonio called me today. He goes, Marco, I'm not messing around. You don't bring me my cutouts, I'm starting my old podcast and you're never going to hear from me again.
What is cutout? Yeah, I didn't understand what
These
are
cutouts.
Oh, those are the cutouts. I didn't understand what he was talking about.
Easy.
You didn't want to ask like I forgot. I don't even care, right?
The same game we all worship, keep fighting, we're rising, it's all worth it. Brothers who said last together, staying strong. Within this boot is where we all belong. Different color, same game we all worship, keep fighting.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie A audio experience with IFTV. Guys, on the midweek Coppa Italia video that we made, I said that I've never seen Antonio in my life this happy. The smile on his face. He looked like the Grinch, you know, in The Grinch Stole Christmas. Mm-hmm. This week couldn't have gotten any better for you. I don't know what you did. We told you last episode, play the lottery numbers because you want to roll. This week, your Milan didn't win, but you're the two teams that you don't like, me and Peter. You got above us again. How do you feel?
How do I feel? I said, I predicted everything because it was nothing difficult to predict that stuff.
I'm glad you say that. Because your prediction from the beginning of the season
Totally off.
not doing too good. All right. You're allowed to change your mind.
This is only the beginning with you guys. I mean, you guys don't have the two defenders that you think are the best defenders.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bunch of hiccups coming up.
I said this.
Okay.
I said that.
Let's not talk about Peter because I have something prepared for Peter that is going to be very depressing for the Inter fans. Put it this way.
Yeah, Antonio's got a surprise in store. But before we get into that and before we get into the rest of the games, interesting weekend. Again, we always look back. We think that we know something's going to happen in Serie A. And then I think the amount of surprises, the way that you can't take your eyes off the match because you never know what's going to happen. We had some good football on display. And the changes that we said were needed, I think, happened. We posted a clip from the last podcast where we did it. We have to do our predictions. At the end, we had to predict next week's matches because it worked out perfectly. Because you predicted a tie for Inter. And then you asked Peter, you said, what happens if Bologna wins? And what did you say, Peter?
They were going to sack Spalletti.
So right now, Spalletti is not looking the best if we look at what they're saying inside the newspapers. What do we think about that?
I think Spalletti was 1 foot out the door already. The other one needs to be pushed just next week. They might push him out, you know?
I think that Spalletti is going to be out by the end of the season. That's for sure. And that's already, I think, been determined in the last month or so. It depends all if they want to do it now and get somebody to get them through June, or maybe they'll wait until the end of the season. But it's getting embarrassing for Inter. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next week or so. But I think he's definitely out by the end of the season.
By the end of the season?
By the end of the season, he's out.
You don't think he's gonna get an early sack?
It could be.
Oh.
What were you going to say, Peter?
No, I have to agree with Gaetano in the sense that if the players are not motivated behind them, like we've seen the past 3 games where we can't even score a goal in play, it's just a sad sign. So you either have to sack them because you seriously can risk losing Champions League spot. There's 4 teams behind Inter that are right there.
Atalanta.
You know, and all it takes is one of these teams to get a hot start. And they can finish strong, and Inter could possibly come out of the Champions League, and that would be detrimental to Inter and what they're trying to do, because you're losing 30 million right off the boat, and then also not being able to have the money to invest in talent and attract the big name players. So they definitely have to make a decision. But I think Gaetano also was right in the sense that this decision, I think, was brewing in the past month, and I think, quite honestly, Marotta has a lot to do with it. Maybe not 100% confident in Spalletti, the way Inter plays, and he has a new way that he wants new direction that he wants Inter to go to.
Yeah, I mean, before the match, I'll read a quote from Marotta. They were talking about Conte, who Conte was in Milano. They said, he was near Inter's offices. He said it's unthinkable to criticize a coach who's in third place. The Conte rumors have no basis to them. Again, this was prior to the match. And the key was if he's in third place. So if Marotta is going to get somebody, like if we think Conte is going to be there, or Simeone, or Mourinho, whoever it's going to be, the rumors are that next week against Parma is Spalletti's last chance. And if he does not get a result against Parma, then it would be a Cambiaso or some kind of caretaker until they figure out what kind of coach should be. As an Inter fan, what do you feel about the situation? Do you think it's a good idea to get rid of Spalletti to take somebody like Cambiaso if it did come down to that right now?
Well, right now Inter's not playing. You can tell they're not getting their chances, and even the chances that come to them, the players are too nervous or not being able to really do anything with it. And we don't create enough chances. And even though even last year at times we didn't create chances, but we were lucky that Icardi scored. Now Icardi seems like he can't even hit the goal even wide open, which he had the chance to. Poli passes him the ball and he completely misses goal.
Even Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel that when a new coach comes in, you do see a spark, even though at times it's only for a short while. But look at Manchester United, where you have a certain quality players. You need someone to just get in there and change.
Right.
Cambiaso knows Inter. He's part of, he's an Inter legend for what he's done with the Champions League. He's been coached by great coaches.
But he has never coached before.
He was on the staff with Argentina, Colombia, with Peckerman. So, I mean, even though he's never coached, if you ask any of the coaches that he's had, he was a coach on the field. He was the general. He was the De Rossi. A lot of people, they would say, oh, Cambiaso's guy that he didn't shut up. He would keep on talking, and that's how he was. So I think he definitely has the qualities to be a coach. So,
he was the assistant coach for the World Cup, right?
Yeah, with Peckerman, with Colombia.
With Colombia,
Wow.
Yeah, he
I
was
didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was sitting on the bench. I saw him sitting on the bench. I think for Inter, in the next week they're going to decide who's going to take him until June. Could be Cambiaso, could be Vecchi, which I think he did it once before.
Yeah, he did.
He's from the Primavera, from the youth team. And then they're going to decide whether it's going to be El Cholo, Conte, or Mourinho. Those three.
Cholo is not going to come.
I think the first choice it would be Simeone. I think for Inter.
I think so.
It's too soon,
so.
No,
for the summer.
But if you had,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, in the summer.
I still think it's too soon.
No, but I'm saying if you had the chance, I think if you had the chance, your first choice is.
Yeah, the first choice I think for Inter, for the fans and for the club.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
it would be Simeone.
I thought you meant realistically.
The fans, I think they would like Mourinho, but maybe the club not as much. And Conte, I think the fans
will probably.
I think that Conte is going to be the one.
But realistically, who can really do it?
No, I think that Cholo is very unrealistic. I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to need a certain situation for that to happen. I think Mourinho. I think if you wanted Mourinho, I think you could get Mourinho. He says every time I walk the streets of Milan, I get stopped. And the Inter fans hug me and they kiss me, thanking me still for what I do.
Boy.
But anyway, I wanted to bring up, you just said you put a spark, right? Changing coach puts a spark. Last week, 7 days ago, Frosinone was beating Bologna 4-0. They get rid of Inzaghi. They get Mihajlovic.
Wow.
We all said Mihajlovic is somebody who, will take the players. We all said that Bologna is not a team worth to being in 19th, 18th place. They come out and they beat Inter in their first away win of the season. Bologna didn't win a game away from home, and they beat Inter. So that difference, like you said, was evident for Bologna, who looked much, much better. Let me bring up one last stat for Inter. And I think this one's very significant and goes to the point of the problem at Inter. Inter are the only Serie A team that once they're trailing in a match, they've never come back to win or even tie. 6 times they've been down in a match, all 6 times they've lost. No other Serie A team has been able to do that.
That's a Spalletti philosophy. Why? He says, guys, once you go down, forget about it.
It's not true. In the Champions League, we came back all the time. So, I mean, the numbers are...
This is Serie A.
No, I'm saying...
Yeah.
He's saying the mentality of Spalletti. Yeah. The point is...
in Champions League, all 3 times
we came back.
So.
But the point is, I really... it's confusing. It's confusing. How can you do that with Champions League and not be able to come back in Serie A?
I want to pick up on what you said about Simeone before. I doubt that Simeone is gonna come to Inter Milan unless the guy makes a disaster end to the Champions League. I just hope that he beats Juventus right now.
Why would you want that?
Because Simeone is a champion. Okay, so for him to come in with a team that has a budget of less than 1/3 of what Juventus has.
Says who?
You know how
much they pay their players.
Atletico
has spent some of the most.
So let's say beats Juventus. That would be an incentive. Will be an incentive for Inter to bring him into Milan and say, "Hey, we got Simeone right now. Now we're making the Serie A very competitive. That would be great.
I feel like that would be the opposite. I feel like if he would go out, it would be more likely.
Well, I'll tell you what's the reasons why Simeone is going to stay over there, because he wants to win something, and I don't think he's going to win this year. But only if he beats Juventus and he goes all the way to the final of the Champions.
That's a big if. Those are big ifs. Those are very big ifs. Icardi came out on social media and he said, "If you don't love Inter when we lose, then don't love us when we win." It was a pretty big quote. I know the papers were trying to steer it, saying that it was against the fans. But Icardi still shows that he's somebody that really cares about the jersey. But I think it's a mentality thing with Inter. I don't think it's a quality problem. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's my opinion about it.
It's not what I heard in secret, because I heard that Vanda and him had a little talk, and I'm going to send you the clip in a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Wanda?
I have Wanda's clip.
Yeah.
She texted to me.
No, I think Icardi, is at cause of Inter's dismay, in the sense that he hasn't been able to score. And this is a guy that's always been able to score, always been able to, when he had the chance, at least convert one of the chances.
You can't play.
But you can't blame him. But he's also had the history of problems with the curva. When he came out with the book, he claimed all that stuff. So I mean, there's definitely something involved. But I guess the curva Nord, they overlooked it because of the goals he scored and being the captain. But I know a lot of Inter fans are not happy with Icardi as a captain. They don't feel that it's right.
But it was brushed under the rug because he was scoring and doing well. And now it's coming up more.
Same thing with his contract.
Yeah. So I mean, even that Inter, they do not have the caliber player, winning mentality players, in the sense that we do not have guys besides Asamoah that actually won a league. Look at all the players that we have.
Yeah.
None of them? None of them. A bunch of losers?
Yeah,
none of them have won a league.
Listen, you have 50%
Andanovic never won.
They almost won the World Cup, 50% of them.
Skriniar never won. There's only 3.
All right. Andanovic won.
Andanovic is Slovenia.
All right. Come on.
Skriniar has never won anything. De Vrij never won anything.
How about Ambrosio?
Trust me, in the locker room, it does change. The only guy is Asamoah. So these are guys that the past 3 years, they've crumbled. And it's not up to Inter standards, but it's the standards of most Serie A teams. If you see most Serie A teams, they have this up and down season. Yeah.
Vanda even said it. She was on Italian TV, and she said that this is like what Inter does is January, February, you start to see a little bit of.
You want me to play the clip of Vanda because you just texted to me? I'll do it for you right now.
You have her number?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to look like Wanda too.
That's not a problem. That is not a problem.
Would you like me to?
You got me started.
Would you like me to set the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I was just telling my dad off camera, Antonio's been calling me for weeks saying, I need these cutouts. He threatened me today. He said, if you don't get me these cutouts by today, I'm making my own podcast and you're never going to hear from me again. We texted him back. If that's all we need to do to get rid of you on the podcast, we'll see you later. But we love you, so I got you your cutout.
Guys, this is the real situation. In Icardi's home bedroom, when the two of them are by themselves, this is what's going on. Vanda starts. Mauro, what's going on with you lately? Don't laugh, please. Hey, Mauro, what's going on with you lately? What do you mean, what's going on?
Oh, my God.
You're not scoring anymore.
Did you say you're not screwing anymore or scoring? Scoring. What did you say?
You're not scoring anymore.
Oh,
scoring.
Okay. Oh.
We need goals.
Okay. I misunderstood.
Hey, Amanda, how am I going to score? I have a bunch of losers behind me. They don't feed me a goddamn ball. How am I going to score? I don't get the ball.
Oh, God.
Just tell that stupid idiot of your coach to tell them to give you the ball. You know what? I think you're right. I said, I'm getting sick and tired of this guy here, Mr. Spalletti. You know what? I'm done with these guys here. I'm tired. I mean, Messi makes $40 million. Neymar makes $35 million. Ronaldo makes $29 million. Hamsik makes $9 million. He's going to be making $9 million. So, and you know what they did to me, this guy here? He put Ranocchia playing next to me He put Ranocchia playing next to me to show me that I'm a useless guy. I said, if you cannot score, I'm gonna get you Ranocchia to score instead of you.
Oh my God.
You see what he's doing?
How long is this clip?
You know what?
This is a movie.
I'm done with these guys here. We're gonna go talking to Real Madrid, and we'll go talking with Manchester United. We're gone. We're done. We're done. I'm done.
Can I ask?
Bravo.
Very good job. Can I ask Wanda a question? Wanda, what about if you suggest to your husband not to score any more goals? Maybe Spalletti is going to go faster.
Good idea.
Because I think that's what's happening.
If
What do
only
you
we
think,
had
Wanda?
Spalletti here to.
I think Wanda, is that a good idea?
Well, you know what? I'm trying to negotiate a new contract. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Oh man, that was good. That was so funny. The best part was that Antonio, before the podcast, he tried to get Pete to do one of the roles, and Pete was like, "I'm not doing it." So
And Peter's like, why don't you do it yourself?
One man show. We're in a one man show.
God, Antonio, that was
It's
great.
like William Shakespeare
Anything,
at its best.
anything from Spalletti?
Oh, wait, I forgot to say something. Hey, by the way, Mauro, Spalletti's a goat. He looks like a goat. I said, what do you mean he's a goat? He's the greatest of all time at losing the best player for the team. GOAT, greatest of all time.
Thank you.
For anyone listening to the audio version,
You
go
got it.
to this
Oh
minute
my God,
on the YouTube, on the video,
You can't
because
miss this.
Antonio had a face cut out of Vanda and Icardi and Spalletti. So if you heard that conversation, that's what
And
it
he
was.
was up all night rehearsing this. He didn't get any sleep.
Listen.
No rehearsing needed. You just know that that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Okay, what's
Very
next?
good. Oh my God, that was funny. Let's move on. You don't have these cutouts. That would have been funny too. Juventus, another disaster of a match, of a performance. Like I said, this week for both Peter and I was not good. Coppa Italia exits, and then one loss in the Campionato, and a game that feels like a loss for the way that it came about. Juventus against Parma. I think a lot of people here in their predictions said that they had a bad feeling about this. Once I saw the starting lineup and the defense, which was Perin, Spinazzola, Cáceres, Rugani, and Cancelo, I looked at Michael and I said, Juventus are going to be lucky if they get a tie today. Defense that never played together, with Perin in goal. Defense that never played together. Cáceres, who's a right back. How many times did he play for Lazio this season? 2 times? 3 times?
A little bit more than that, but not the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, a stellar attack, like we've been saying, but such a disappointing performance. I wouldn't say disappointing performance, but a disappointing lack of any form of leadership in the back. Bonucci and Chiellini, obviously the two best center backs, and Peter said it multiple times this year that Chiellini's really that key player for Juventus. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that a team like Juventus, who we say they have 3 teams, they lose 2 center backs, and the team looks like a Serie D team in defense. And that is a compliment to the way that they defended. Cancelo, I don't know what he does on defense. Rugani and Cáceres, most of the game they were doing good, but scrambling in the box. I thought Spinazzola was doing well. And then in the midfield, again, the same problems that Juventus have in the midfield. With Khedira, who it was his best game, and he still finds a way to always get on my nerves. And when Pjanic is not there, there's no midfield. So I was very disappointed in Juventus. Up 3-1 in a match. And you tie 3-3 in the last minute of the match because of a stupid pass back by Mandzukic. Amazing match for Mandzukic, but such a stupid pass back. And I'm very confused with this team. The day before, there was a tweet from David Amoyol, who's a good friend of ours, and he said Juventus fans are talking about a crisis, and then Inter showed them what a real crisis is. So it did feel like that on the Saturday when you do a 3-3 against Parma. All respect to Parma. In the past, since 2009, Parma is the team that's gotten the most average points after Napoli against Juventus. So they do always seem to get a good amount of points against
And
Juve.
Juve hit a couple of posts also, right?
Yeah, Khedira hit 2 posts on his own. But again, scoring-wise, they look fine. Ronaldo, great. Mandzukic,
Yeah, the
great.
defense was
But the defense in the
disaster.
midfield, in shambles. What do you guys think about the match?
I think more than Juventus been scrambling on the defense, I think I will give a lot of credit to Parma. Parma's got this Gervinho and a bunch of other players that then are coming over there just to lay down like a rag and been walked over.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
came over
they
there
played
to
on
play.
Juventus' errors.
Listen, they were
Well,
not playing in
Gervinho's great,
Parma.
but they
they
played
were
on
playing in
Juventus'
Parma or in Torino?
In Torino.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
what are they trying to do, those guys? If they didn't
Yeah.
pull up a wall over there just to play defense over there. They went over there to
Yeah,
play the
They
game.
counterattack.
They counterattack.
Juventus had
So
75% possession.
doesn't matter.
I know, it doesn't. It doesn't.
matter.
It doesn't.
So the bottom line is that Juventus without those two guys, and sometimes, how many times did you win games at the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, a
2
lot.
minutes or 3 minutes. So from time to time, don't make me
Yeah,
say
but
anything.
not in this way. Not in this way. And I think even Allegri's reply to the match was very weird. He said, "This is what we get for making those who want beautiful football happy," which I don't really understand what that means.
That is another guy that needs a little
Because
brainwashing.
okay, yes, Juventus are attacking, but what do you mean beautiful football? I mean, he was mad. He said that Mandzukic, which I 100% agree with, when he was in that corner, I said kick the ball out of the stadium. And Allegri said the same thing. He said, "Kick it out of the stadium. Why are you passing it back into the center backs when the center backs can't even control themselves?"
His call was like
But
sometimes you just
Marco,
gotta kick
you
the
name
ball out.
you
right?
name all your center back.
It's embarrassing.
Cancelo, Cáceres, Rugani, and which one is
Spinazzola.
Spinazzola.
Yeah,
okay,
the four
those are all
the four
national
different-
team players. Oh, they were.
Okay, they were.
Okay, hey,
They're not good though.
what do you mean they're not good?
Cancelo did
Cancelo
well.
all of a
Spinazzola
sudden
did
is
well.
not good anymore?
No, I didn't say that. But together, they've never played together before.
It was a brand
and it
new
was also
defense.
confusing. Perin, this entire season, has looked shaky. He looks terrified in goal. Yes, the goals were not completely his fault, and I wouldn't fault him, but every time he looks scary. With a new defense, why are we putting Perin in goal? Why aren't you playing Szczesny, who's the better player and who has more leadership to tell these guys, go there. Perin is a little bit more timid. It's just some of these ideas and keeping Casa, like Benatia leaving. Benatia, who's been a player for Juventus a long time. I understand that he wants to leave, but at a point you got to say, if we don't have a better center back, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to leave until June because we can't replace you. Perfect opportunity where Benatia would have been able to be used, where Rugani and Cáceres both lack leadership skills. Rugani's okay if he's put next to Bonucci or put next to Chiellini.
Well,
On
Cáceres
his
is
own,
new too.
he's not.
Yeah, Rugani, I agree with you. Cáceres
Again,
is brand new too.
I just hope that
so-
Caldara comes up big with AC Milan, so you're going to be regretting that you told it to us.
I think that
Right, Pete?
I wouldn't call it a crisis. I mean, they haven't lost one game yet. They only tied a
In the
few
league.
games.
In the league.
They tied 3 games. We're talking about the league. I think where Juventus might have not made the right decisions, I think, was to let Benatia go. You don't let him go when Chiellini, he was hurt. Barzagli is hurt. I mean, we're missing Barzagli too, because Barzagli would have done a very good job. So now you put De Sciglio there. He's not really. He never played in the middle. I don't think he's a guy to play in the middle. Or Cancelo is not a guy to play in the middle. So you're struggling. Let Benatia stay until June, and then you get rid of. Then if
You let him go.
if he's not happy because he's not playing, then he can go. But once you're down with Bonucci and you're down with Chiellini, who's the leader there?
There isn't. There isn't a leader.
That's I think that's what they made a mistake with that, letting Benatia go, because I think if he would have played in the center, it would have been. I think it would have been different.
What about the midfield? What do you think about the midfield? Because to me, this midfield, if Pjanic is not there, this is not a good midfield
There's
at
no
all.
creativity.
There's no
that you
creativity.
have.
Bentancur,
Yeah.
Emre-Can, Khedira.
And they don't break up the plays. As
None
they
of
say.
them are able to play there on their own. Matuidi's a good player, but without
He can't do
Pjanic
it by
there,
himself.
the Juventus midfield is inexistent.
Yeah, in front of the defense, I think Pjanic is the best one. Bentancur did a good job for 6, 7, 8 games he played in a row. He was doing a good job. Then he came out. I think he got hurt, and then he came out. But in front of the defense, yeah, you need Pjanic. That's why they were trying to get another midfielder. They wanted to get another midfielder. But
What'd you think about the game, P?
I was surprised that they actually that Parma was able to get the tie. I mean, I felt that Parma had a chance in this game to get the tie, but not after Juventus is up 2-0, and then not after you're up 3-1. They scored 2-1, and then Juventus was able to score right away 3-1. You think with 20 minutes or so, Juventus has this in the bag. Even if they let in one more goal, they'll be okay. And it looked like they were going to until Mandzukic does this bonehead play where he gets the ball, collects the ball, brings it down to the corner, waits a little bit, and then just kicks it to the defender like that. Also, you never give a pass into your defense like that. Never. Because you never know what can happen. He can lose control.
Exactly.
And we know the rest.
Better off
and we know the rest. Yeah.
Out.
But I said without Chiellini, without Bonucci, and now Benatia leaving, there's no real midfield, the third midfielder that can come in and you say, oh, I'm confident in this guy.
Defender, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Rugani has been shaky since coming to Juventus. It looks like
they might ship him
I
out
think
too.
he's not Juventus material,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
When he's placed with someone, he makes a whole big, he turns into a different player. But when he's got to be the leader of that defense, he doesn't look like he's ready. Maybe he needs more time playing somewhere else. And then, but listen, Barzagli took a long time before he became what he is now. When he was with Palermo, he went to Wolfsburg. And then he came back and was able to really solidify his
Bonucci
career.
came to AC Milan,
Defense
right?
is different.
And
Defense,
Rugani
the older you are, the better sometimes you get with experience. But I mean, besides that, injury trouble is a problem for Juventus, and this could be something detrimental. Not so much in Serie A, but when Champions League comes, because you have a big tie.
20 days.
18
days.
Oh,
yeah.
you'll be in shape. You'll be in shape.
So we'll see. It looks like Chiellini should be okay, but Bonucci maybe not. So Chiellini there, you feel confident, but you're still missing that person in the back.
100%.
Cáceres was a right back originally.
Yeah.
Even though he's played center
sense.
back, he's not a pure center back. He doesn't have any physicality. Like Benatia has height, strength, and everything. And just in the midfield, Khedira, I don't know if it's lack of form or he's just getting older, because he used to be the guy in the midfield that can go up and score you those goals. He would have scored a certain amount of goals. Pjanic, the Regista, and Matuidi to break up. So I don't know. I just feel that Juventus is lacking something. But, they're a great team. So I'm sure when they're able to get everyone together, they can play. Allegri, I think he said after the Atalanta game, he goes, we've had the crisis before, so-and-so crisis before, where we lost a couple of games or we tied a game whether it was Sampdoria and Crotone last year. And then we found our way and we were fine. So, I mean, in Serie A, they've created such a lead that they can slip up a little bit. If you want to say a tie is a slip up.
I can't believe this guy's almost crying for a tie. You still got a point, man.
Listen, over on this side of the table, ties are losses. For you, a tie, you run a right for a tie.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy with the tie that we had yesterday.
What I want to say is how does Inter have Miranda, De Vrij, and Skriniar, and Juventus, your Bonucci, Chiellini, and then your next best is who? Rugani?
Would you play Cáceres?
Doesn't make sense.
What about Ranocchia? You forgot Ranocchia too. Ranocchia is a good defender.
I'm talking about good defenders.
Wait, you kidding?
You're just saying that because he's from Bari, right? He's from Bari,
not
or
from
he
Bari.
played for Bari.
He
Played for
played in
Bari.
Bari.
Sorry. You see, you knew.
With Bonucci.
With Bonucci.
So to me, it I don't know. I'm very confused by that because Juventus' strategy on the transfer market, you hear Marcelo, you hear Darmian. You're still going after right back and left backs when the center back and the center midfield are the real problems. You don't need another striker. You don't need another right back. You don't need another left back. You need a good center back, a good backup center back, and you need a good midfielder. Because ever since Vidal, Pogba, Pirlo left, Marquisio left, nothing. The midfielder of Juventus has been poor, and are Juventus going to be able to continue and do all this? Maybe, most likely, yes. But I think it's come to a point where a lot of Juventus fans, based off their reaction, are getting a little bit annoyed with the tactics and the lack of tactics, I should say, which are coming from Allegri, which seem a little bit stale. Not to say that he's not a great coach. I think that what Allegri's done has been incredible. But there is a part of me that says, and this is what I wrote in my group message with some of my Juventus friends. I said, we have a Ferrari, but we're driving it like a Motorino. Like, there's sometimes when I say we have the best players in the world, but we're still not playing great. We're still not convincing wins. If Juventus go on and win everything, applause to you, right? If you don't, there's going to be some problems.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you something, even Gaetano? This Juventus team is in the tail end of the, of the team, The team is starting to, is going to have to change.
The dynasty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this was the first time since
cycle.
2012 that the BBC was not called up to a match. And I think more so the dynasty, the attack has changed a lot. So I think the attack has improved, but the defense has not.
Yeah, but I think even the cycle, because if you look, Mandzukic is a certain age, Chiellini, Bonucci is a certain age.
Barzagli is already with 1 foot out.
Yeah, Barzagli.
Ronaldo, even though he has he's just got there,
Almost
but
there.
he's
34
still
today.
certain age.
34?
Tomorrow.
Boy.
Kedira also.
Can I ask?
Go a little closer.
Vanda?
No.
What do you want to ask?
Can I ask Antonio
Yeah.
a question since we're talking about Ronaldo?
Yeah.
You have a mask of yourself?
Oh, no, I don't have Ronaldo. But I'll put myself a mask.
Can I ask a question? How many goals does Ronaldo have?
I don't care about Ronaldo.
Who's the leading scorer of the Italian
I don't think it's
Championship?
Ronaldo, is he? Well, unfortunately for now, it's Ronaldo. But watch for
Unfortunately.
watch for.
Watch for who?
I want to see you hold the mask and do the celebration.
Hold the mask. Mike,
hold my
Mike.
mask.
Mike, hold the mask.
Watch for this guy here. He's gonna do this. Okay, to you guys.
Well, for the time being, the person that you said would never score any goals because the defense was too good, the guy is scoring. He's very close to 20 goals.
Well, that's what happened when many. I have to be honest with you. A lot of those teams they've been told ahead of the time, hey, you see Ronaldo, just to keep him.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit,
No, it's the opposite. And when you play Juventus, you got to play your life out because it's the only opportunity that you're seeing. Anyway, credit to Gervin.
How many penalties did he take, Ronaldo? Here you go. That's what I'm
He
asking.
took the
4,
most,
3 or 4.
So you take 5 penalties out, and then you'll see it.
Then you got to take 5
Then
penalties
you
for
will see
everybody
it.
else.
Then you'll see it. It's right there with everybody else. Maybe under somebody else.
Gervinho, the 2 games that he's played against Juventus, he had 3 shots. All 3 turned into goals. A guy that was ruled out. Everybody said, "Oh, he left. He came back. He's old. He doesn't have the pace." Still doing it against some of the best the entire season. So happy for Gervinho. Great guy. He supports IFTV a lot, so he's we always have a soft spot for him. And, excuse me, and for Parma, who's doing great this season. There's something that we'll talk about at the end about Serie A cutting down to 18 teams. We'll get everybody's opinion on.
From 20.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good. That's a good move.
You
I like that.
jump to it. You want to talk about? Let's talk about your Milan.
Oh yeah.
A 1-1 draw against Roma, a match that we said Di Francesco's life was on the line. His job was on the line. You were up 1-0 through who?
Piontek.
Through Piontek. When he scored I couldn't believe it. 3 goals in 3 games, which is
But after that,
so
Manolas kept them all out of bed.
3 goals in 2 games.
3 games.
3
Three
games.
games.
Yeah.
He did a doppietta with
He
2
played,
goals
he played
against
Napoli. He played Napoli in
first
Serie A.
game he
but
lost.
Oh,
like
by the
15
way, he
minutes.
just had maybe
That's
10,
still
15
games.
I'm just saying
minutes.
technically. I'm just saying technically.
I'm just going by the rules over here.
Otherwise, we start counting minutes. Who knows? But anyway, in this match, the Italian Zaniolo, who's we know has been breaking into Roma, got on the score sheet. He actually broke a record too. He's the youngest player for Roma to score 3 Serie A goals since Francesco Totti.
Wow.
19 years old, proving his way into
We're
this
watching a
midfield.
legend grow, guys.
And I thought it was a great match. I thought Roma looked really well. I thought they could have scored a few more
Roma could have
goals,
won that.
right?
I think Roma they were closer to winning than Milan.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
You
Are
made
you
it seem
serious?
like
Or
you made it seem like you weren't going to agree
Listen,
with me.
if they will have given us the penalty on Suso, and that was a second yellow on Pellegrini. On
Kolarov.
Kolarov?
No,
was-
Pellegrini.
Pellegrini. You're right.
That was the
Yeah.
second yellow.
That was.
Yeah,
It
okay,
would be at least AC Milan at 20 minutes on the second half,
Okay.
on 11 against 10.
Two things just to jump in. Number one, I've heard a few different things. I heard one, the commentator said that it was offsides, the ball from, I don't remember who gave somebody to Suso. I heard it was offsides, but I didn't hear confirmations of it.
The
That's number
Kolarov
one.
penalty that they were
Yeah.
saying.
But, I mean, you're going to blame a penalty. You got to look at all the games.
That's true.
Catano, did you watch it? The push on Suso? The guy just pushed him with both hands.
He tackled him.
He was ready for the Super
It was
Bowl.
Super
Yeah,
Bowl
I
tackle.
saw it.
That would be Juventus. That will get 2 penalties.
Juventus weren't given a penalty this week.
He said 2
On
penalties.
Khedira. We're not going to talk about that.
Listen, talking about the Francesca Roma,
Yeah.
it was a great performance by Roma. Roma should have won the game.
There we go.
They had a lot of chances, and they hit the post with Pellegrini at the end there. I mean, they really came through. But
Donnarumma is the man.
Donnarumma
Donnarumma
made
played a
He
fantastic
he made
match.
some saves. But this kid Zaniolo is unbelievable.
Special.
I mean, this kid he could do some special things. Out of all the players that took the field on Sunday, you know, Zaniolo was the one that he was not booed by the fans.
Him and De Rossi.
De Rossi, right.
Him and De Rossi. And once again, you'll see, you know, we spoke about the leadership, lack of leadership from Roma. De Rossi comes in, he plays the game, and they're playing against a tough team, a good team, and they tied the game, and they should have won the game. So De Rossi and Zaniolo, you know, they made the difference. But the whole team, I thought, playing good, and De Francesco did a good job. Now the fans are not happy. Some of them, they walked out and they left the game in the middle of the game. They left. And
when AC Milan was still up 1-0.
And they criticize. They're criticizing the players, and they criticize Pallotta, who is the president of the team. So it's a tough place to play. I mean, last week they brought some nasty stuff at Kolarov at his house. So they're going through some tension, but I still believe that Di Francesco is a good coach. I think he did a good job there, but I think they need to realize, hey, which way are we going to go? What's our objective? Are we going to win the Scudetto? We want to win the championship. We want to be in the Champions League. Which way we want to go? And I think Pallotta has to make some decisions there.
And actions behind those
But
decisions
listen,
too.
Marco, Gaetano.
Zaniolo.
Di Francesco. So far, is on the run in all of the three major. The Campionato we know is not going to win, but he's still on the Champions League. He's still 1 or 2 points away from the 4th place. I mean, what is it that he got kicked out by the Coppa Italia in a way that could have been a little.
That was bad.
That's the only hiccup. The 7 goal against Fiorentina. You had a very bad game. All of a sudden, you want to sack a coach of that caliber. To me, he's one of the top 4 or 5. This guy here.
He's 1 point away from 4th.
That's what I'm saying. He's 1 point away from 4th place. So I don't see what all of this, the tifosi, all of this, a big harassment. This is ridiculous. I mean.
How for Spalletti? You don't
Spalletti is in 3rd place, and there's nothing.
He's different.
But I don't know. I think we've been talking about how Roma's been up and down. I mean, what's really probably been upsetting for the fans is last year you were competing to get into the final of Champions League, and then this year they sold a couple of players and stuff like that, and now they have to be content with winning 4th spot
or fighting to
fight to get the Champions League, to get in the Champions League. So that's one thing. So I think it might be that they're more upset at the club, Roma in general. They invested more in the youth. Di Francesco's changing some players around, but what's upsetting is the way that they lose or the way that they tie. You can be winning 3-0 versus Atalanta and then 3-3. 2-0 versus Cagliari, 2-2.
Dropping all these.
These are all these games that you cannot have these mental mistakes and mental breakdowns. Obviously, you see the difference when De Rossi's there. De Rossi, after so many days out on injury, he plays a full 90 minutes, and you can see the grinta that he puts.
Everybody follows his direction and all the stuff.
He's the leader.
Pete, who sold Zaniolo to Inter, to Roma?
Inter. Was it Spalletti that sold it?
That's not Spalletti's job.
Yeah, he didn't want to give him the chance to get into the field.
Look how he peeks out of the
I
mask.
know that.
All right. So what's happening now? This is the guy that you need.
Speak to your coach. Speak to him.
Spalletti, what do you have on your head? Spaghetti?
I think he's missing some spaghetti. I don't know. But
he was the best player for you guys.
Can I ask this one? Since you're more Roma fan, the 7-1 loss, is it because the players revolted against Di Francesco? Was it that they didn't consider Coppa Italia to be one of their major one of their things that they want objective-wise? Or was it just like a freak accident and
it was an accident? To me, it was an accident
of everything.
It was an accident.
What I have said before is that they have no leadership. This team has no leadership. Without De Rossi, there's no leader there. And I mean, what Dzeko did with the referee, I mean, that's unacceptable. You don't do that.
Yeah.
I think if De Rossi was in that game,
Nothing will have happened.
the
on that
score
caliber.
would not have been 7-1, and I think Dzeko would have never done that. He would have never done if De Rossi wasn't in that game. I mean, that's a disgrace. But and also the direction of the team. Which direction is this team going for? What does Pallotta want? What does he want? It seems like he argues with everybody. He's got to fight with. He fights with everybody. So I don't know. Does he want to bring this team to one of the elite teams in Europe? Don't sell your best players. You keep selling. One time IFTV had the lineup of all the players that they sold. It's the national team. It's like
Right.
it could have been one of the best teams in Europe with those players.
What did you do though? If they come in, it's like,
Yeah,
I
but
want to leave.
if you sell the guys, then you got to get good guys to replace them. You can't just sell it.
That's why
you
they
can't
got
sell everybody.
That's why they got the younger prospects for the future.
No. But you can't just bet on the future. You can't say, "Oh, we're gonna go all in on the future."
That's what
guys. That's what we're gonna do.
That's Mochi's plan.
Okay, that's what he's saying.
Yeah,
That's
but
not the right
Okay.
plan.
All right, I understand your point, but okay, in England, right? Manchester
Yeah.
City 10 years ago was a mid-level team.
Yeah.
Before she came in.
They weren't
So
a top team.
if Pallotta's interested in bringing Roma to where he
Top
wants
level.
it, if he wants it to be the elite team, he's got to start investing money. He's got to start paying the players a certain amount, so that way they don't leave. So that's what it comes into what Gaetano was saying.
But the selection of the players that they had, I mean, somebody that was selecting those players must have had some vision. You had Pjanic, you had Salah. I mean,
You are
Rudiger.
Gervinho.
Alisson.
you had Alisson,
Gervinho.
one of the best, goalkeepers
Good thing
in
they
the
kept
world.
Manolas. Whew.
And there are more, and you can,
Benatia.
you
I
kept
forgot about
you
him.
kept selling it. Strootman,
Nainggolan, right?
Strootman Gaetano was hurt, so
Yeah,
Strootman would make a different
Nainggolan.
story.
I mean, the players, whoever bought those players,
Remember Digne? Digne was a great player.
they had some vision.
Who was there?
Rudiger.
Sabatini was there during all that time?
Sabatini,
I have it right
Sabatini.
here.
Great.
Romagnoli. They had Romagnoli, Alisson, Benatia, Marquinhos, Lamela, Strootman, Nainggolan, Pjanic, Emerson Palmieri, Gervinho, Salah, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys.
Was
that we can't
Romagnoli
even-
That's a
performing
lot
when
of
he was there,
players.
though?
That's a
Wow.
lot of players. If
Yeah,
you
he
keep
played,
even
he played.
50% of those people over
Man,
there,
And I'm sure we missed a lot.
That
I'm sure.
team with the team that you have now, you get a good combination. You top 3 or 4 in
in
Europe.
the world.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And
No.
Zeman, too. Don't forget him.
No, I think that you're right, and I think we've talked about Roma. We know how inconsistent they are, and we know that their problems run deeper than just on the surface of a coach because they've gone through coaches. And just to hit upon what I think the most, what the fans are most upset about, I just feel like it's that they went from a period where they were the ones that were finishing in second to fight for the Scudetto, like if you guys remember in 2011, 2012, and then they slowly saw Napoli get
Overtake
better,
them.
and they were the second place team. And now they're slowly seeing Inter and Milan get better. And I think it's a pull of we had that opportunity to really cement ourselves. And
didn't
is
take
it
advantage.
slipping away slowly? So I think that's my opinion. As far as Milan, give your take from the game as a Milan fan, real quick.
I think, as I predicted, I knew that Di Francesco was not going to roll over because they lost 7-1 against Florence. Actually, for them was an extra motivation to do to put a big show on the Olimpico because hey, you have to just keep the fans from totally disappearing from the stands. So, and I knew it. So
You predicted it, right?
I
Tie,
predicted.
yeah.
He
I
said
predicted.
you said you would sign for a tie.
I would say I will
I
be
said
happy
tie
if AC
too.
Milan gets a tie.
Okay.
You guys gave him the win, I think, right? AC Milan win.
Yeah, I gave AC Milan.
I
a
said
win.
tie.
What did you say? Losing?
I don't remember to tell you.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
No.
So anyway,
Yeah.
the bottom
We'll go
line,
back.
the bottom line is AC Milan, I think, didn't deserve to win, but the equal have won the game. Okay, on the second half, AC Milan played much better than the first half. Okay, even though they hit the post and all the stuff.
Donnarumma, too, played.
Donnarumma, hey, listen, you're expecting saves of that
For
caliber.
how much money he's making?
Well, what do you mean how much money he's
No,
making?
no, that's what I'm saying.
He's going to be making a lot more money than Icardi soon. So
He already is. He is. making
So
money.
currently.
he's already.
He is.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
God! Let me just tell Vanda.
Even Ranocchia's making more than Icardi.
What do you
anyway.
think about the midfield and how it's looking with Piontek up top?
Well, listen, Piontek is taking one or two additional defender with them because what he's doing is creating a lot more room for the mid for
Çalhanoğlu and Suso.
for Suso and Çalhanoğlu to just have a lot more room to maneuver on the backside over there. And this guy here, he's got speed and he's got even vision. So right now we still try to get into the groove of the team and the mentality that they have. But I think the speed of the game with AC Milan has increased overall. So
Gazzetta, they analyzed his first 3 games, and you know how they do. You know, sometimes they hype it up, but just to say it, just for whatever, they said that Piontek has the heading ability of Gilardino, the personality of Kaká, the sense of scoring like Pippo Inzaghi, and the
How about the coaching of Inzaghi?
and the execution speed of Shevchenko.
Look at
the
this
speed
guy.
of execution.
This guy is
Well,
top player.
Well. Let's not go too far right now.
If you see the goal that he scored, but first there's two things that is great about Milan, right? Two winter signings. Paquetá, who has been a great addition. Not so much for the creativity that he brings, which we know already, but as a Brazilian player to actually come back and play defense as a midfielder and not playing in the trequartista role, but more as in the 3-man defense midfield. Sorry, he was the one that pressed the defender,
right?
Gets the ball, turns him around, puts a cross, and you see Piontek as a pure striker
coming from behind,
knowing and anticipating. Boom, boom. And he scores. Even though it deflected off Fazio, it still was a true striker's goal. So I mean that's something that Milan definitely can use. And Piontek, we've seen already the goals he scored versus Napoli. So I think he's a true striker. Just I feel unfortunate, as I told you before, Cutrone with Piontek, I do not think they coexist, especially in the system that we play in. Now, modern football, you rarely see 2 target strikers. Maybe 10 years ago, you had the 2 big strikers that would play, but you don't see it anymore. So unless Gattuso reinvents something,
he's gonna find a way to make him play with
Piontek is young. Piontek is young.
I
think Piontek is gonna be the Milan striker.
Listen, Cutrone came in for 5-10 minutes before the end of the game. You see, he made that diving header over there. Cutrone is not a second to anybody. Mancini's.
I'm not trying to say that he's second.
coming in.
Yeah. I know.
Is what he's saying.
I'm not saying he's second to anybody. I think Cutrone is a great player.
Unfortunately, you can only put 11 people on the field.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I think
they're not going to play together as the 11.
You never
because
know.
He has to choose.
You never know.
We'll see. Well, I guess we'll see.
One thing I gotta say, to pick up on Paquetá. Paquetá is not making us, regretting that Bonaventura is hurt because we missed Bonaventura since he got injured. And this guy here, he needs to be refined a little bit. He's still a little bit raw, but he's got the quality to be a great midfielder. And he knows the game. He knows how to play the game. So let's hope and pray that by the time we get to face Juventus one more time, Paquetá puts 3 golden sombreros on the back of
maybe 4.
4?
Golden
5?
sombrero.
Why stop at 5?
Yeah, why not?
If he's
we
so
can
good,
we can do it.
8.
We can do it. Parma put 3 goals. We can do it too.
That's true.
Boy.
Let's move on to before I ask you guys that question I said before, Quagliarella and the national team. We had the call-ups. Quagliarella officially called up. Like we said, they're doing just a 2-day training camp with some of the players, and they asked Quagliarella what the secret is, to be called up. He said, being called up to the national team at 36 years old is my secret is hard work. Hard work always pays off. And he said that he could never imagine that at this point in his career, he would still be called up to the Azzurri. One thing we found interesting is Cutrone is still not called up to the Italian national team. I've heard different stuff that, maybe he's getting called up with the younger team, the U21s, the U19s, because they need him more. But seeing as Zaniolo and Chiesa and Moiskin, all players who are in the same age as him, are all called up to the first team, I find it very strange that Cutrone is not called up. And I know also one other thing, Mancini said that he wants more teams like Roma and more coaches like Di Francesco to have the confidence to play players like Zaniolo. And he gave his congratulations to Zaniolo. He said, as a 19-year-old kid in his first season at Roma, not only has he become a starter, not only has he played for Roma, he's become a starter and he's become an important player for Roma, even going to Real Madrid and playing. And he said that more youngsters need to look at Zaniolo for the way that he's going about this and he's handling himself and execute like that.
He plays very hard. The kid of that age, he plays so hard. I mean, he's got a lot of energy. I mean, I'm sure, but he's very, very bright right up here.
What do you think about the Cutrone not called up to the national team? You guys know something I don't?
Well, Cutrone, I think it's a great idea for Mancini still to get Cutrone motivated. In other words, he told Cutrone, I said, listen, the fact that I haven't called you, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be calling you. But he said the same thing about Balotelli, because I was reading a little bit about him, the trail on the bottom of the interviews. But for Cutrone, it would be an extra motivation to do better and to put himself on the position to be called by Mancini. So far, Cutrone has not done anything to prevent Mancini from calling him. But how many people can he call?
Has Moise Kean really done enough to be called
really.
up? But Cutrone, no.
I think this is only a 2-day thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't really read too much into it, but Cutrone had problems starting for Milan to be called up for a national team. But then, like you said, Moise Kean got called up. I don't know. I think Moise Kean definitely has more talent than Cutrone. So I think it's something that he's really interested in, just seeing him close to him.
His raw talent.
Cutrone, I think, is just a hard worker. Not to say he doesn't have the talent, but it's not like he's the most talented striker. He's someone that because he works hard, he gets the goals, which at times is what you need. You need that hard-working striker. But he's not the world-class striker. Not yet. Maybe if he has a little more time.
A couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Weeks.
Not if Piontek is keeps playing.
Just something that I found interesting. Another thing, Hamsik is off to China right now. It's not official, but it's basically official. De Laurentiis confirmed it too. They're going to be getting 15 million for him, which is actually pretty good. And Hamsik is going to be making 9 million euros a year over in China. Just as we saw Jovinko, he went to Al Hilal. It's a life choice. We know he's had these offers many times. And he didn't opt to do it in June because of Ancelotti, they said. But now the offer was too good to refuse. So Hamsik, it's been 10, 12 years since he's been in Napoli. It's going to be strange to see him anywhere else. He's a player that always rejected the big clubs that wanted him. He said, in the past, Juventus and anyone else, he always felt Napolitano and that he wanted to stay in Naples. So bittersweet, I think, for Napoli fans to see him go. They have the Supercoppa memory, obviously, of him lifting the trophy. But I think leaving mid-season for your captain, do you guys think that that's going to affect Napoli in any way?
Not really.
Or because he's not playing too
Napoli's
much?
got plenty of players on his position that they have shown already.
More for the
that they're very
leadership
capable.
of being a captain.
Right now they're trying to get the Insigne, into this leadership role. I mean, it's not directly, but indirectly, Insigne should be now the franchise player of Napoli. And Ancelotti, I think, is going to bring Insigne to a different level, to make sure that he shines into the big stage. But the main thing is that I'm still keeping this thing here coming to my head. How can Hamsik be making $9 million when Icardi makes no more than $3 million? I mean, how much money does he make?
Different leagues.
I want to make different
Icardi's
leagues.
like $5.5 million.
Yeah, but the Chinese league is China. It plays.
They pay them a lot.
It's a
They pay
better
a lot
league
more.
than Italy.
No, but it's
No,
not
they
that.
have a lot of money.
They got much
Because
more
they're
money.
not a better league, they
Offer a
they
lot
play
of money.
Graziano Pele 16 million. They pay Eder like 11 or 12 million.
I hope Vanda, she's not listening to this. You see, do you hear how much money they're getting? All of those,
But there's a reason why they're getting that much.
Yeah.
To play over there.
Yeah.
Listen. If Icardi gets an offer from China,
He's not gonna go.
No, he won't
he's
go.
not gonna go.
What do you
he
guys
won't
think
go.
about the Hamsik part?
It's sad to see Hamsik leave Napoli. He's been pretty much a bandiera, of now face of the franchise for a while. Him and Insigne, and he really grew from leaving Brescia at a really young age to becoming what he is now. At Napoli, and I think Napoli and Serie A loses a great player. I think he's one of the top scorers for Napoli, if not.
Yeah, I think he is
Not
the
the
top
Maradona. Yeah.
So I mean, he's
But
left.
he played a lot of many more years.
Yeah, but he left. But he's left his mark on Napoli, and I think all the Napoli fans they love him, and I just hate to see it happen in the mid-season.
Yeah.
It would have been nice maybe in June where you can send them off the right way. But you know what? This is part of
You don't
soccer.
say no to money.
I think heads up to Hamsik. The guy is a true professional. I think he bought it into the Napoli philosophy. He wanted to win a Scudetto. He stayed there the whole time because he thought he was going to win one. And now, after so many years, he figured, hey, that's it. I did my, you said 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I think 12
there.
years.
He tried his best. He had offers to go to big teams, but he wanted to stay in Napoli because he wanted to win something with Napoli. And now I think his
Playing
time,
less.
his time is over. That's it. He better moves on, but he leaves a legacy there. And I think, like you said, the Napoli fans they really loved him because he was he was a true professional.
Would it be? Isn't it a little bit strange? Though, the only thing I thought about is the Europa League. If Napoli, who have a very good team, a solid team, and Ancelotti says we're betting for Europa League, that's the only reason I thought it was a little bit strange for him to leave early. But maybe the offer's on the table. You say, listen, I count which one's better. I weigh the options, and it was better to go. Anyway,
Marco, they're going to use the money to buy another player, number one. Number two, I said, in the last 2-3 years, how many games did Marek Hamsik finish?
I think now
he didn't finish all the games.
That's because Sarri would take him out at the certain minute.
Right, the vast majority of the time will be just the first 10 minutes of the second half will be taking him out.
But he was playing less and less.
Many times he will not even start, even he will come in from the bench.
No,
so,
we did see this season,
So it was coming. It's something that, it was the writing were on the wall.
Yeah,
put it
for
this
sure.
way.
The question that I want to ask, they said that there's going to be a meeting to discuss potentially Serie A cutting from 20 teams to 18 teams. It's a big discussion point. A lot of people have different opinions. Let's go around, say what you think about this. Mike, start off. What do you think about 18 teams?
Man, if you look at an overall picture, it is going to be a much more interesting league in terms of there's going to be a lot less smaller teams. There's going to be two weaker teams cut from the league. So overall, it's going to be better in that sense. But I do think there's going to be less money overall, but more money distributed to less of the teams than before. So before there's 20 teams, the money distribution, each of them got a little. Now everyone gets a little bit more of the pie in that sense. But I feel like this is a positive thing. It's going to, overall, the games are going to be more exciting, more money all around, and I want to see how it turns out.
Anto, what do you think?
Pretty much, I'm almost online with Mike, and I think that before Serie A was 16 team. Now we're talking about 18.
Mm-hmm.
We could go to 16. I would like it too.
So
that's a little too much.
The only thing is that Juventus is not going to be rolling over very easily the way they've been rolling over those bottom of the draw teams like Frosinone or
Bologna. What about
Milan?
Bologna? Okay.
Inter.
So you agree with Mike?
I definitely agree with him.
Pete?
Definitely.
The only league, the major league that has 18 teams now is in Germany, Bundesliga. And
how many teams they have in Germany?
They have 18.
Okay.
18. Yeah. So, I don't know. 18, 20. I don't know how much of a difference it makes as far as who's going to win the league. But it's just a matter of making the competition stronger, maybe. And also money. So
and
a lot of the
attractive.
teams in Serie A, I think it's nice to see that they could get more share for the money. The only thing is the lower level teams, maybe they want to be able to stay in Serie A.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But you never know because a lot of the Serie B teams that just make the promotion to Serie A, they have a lot of problems where they come right back and then they get really screwed because they're not able to balance the salaries and everything.
They go bankrupt.
So it could be a good idea. I don't think that it makes much of a difference.
I want to add one more thing. Wait, before Gaetano goes on, I want to add one more thing. This 18 versus 20, I think it's going to be better for the big team like Juventus, AC Milan, Inter, Lazio,
will be worse.
Roma. No, it will be better. I'll tell you why.
Less games.
You're going to be playing less games.
Yeah, it's better and worse.
Game.
Yeah, true.
And if you are into international competition and you get closer to the end of the season, you need as much energy as you can because even a small team, especially those guys are fighting for not going down to the end of the season. They'll give you a hard time.
Remember Benevento?
That's what I'm saying. So I think
wouldn't that be better for all of the league too if the top teams have less games to play that they could put more effort into Europe?
But that's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
4 games less, right?
What do you think about it?
I don't know. I have no problem with the 18 teams if they go to 18. You don't want to see teams win one game. Kiev has won one game the whole year. Frosinone has won 2 games the whole year. So you need even though
so it's very hard on the fans.
It's nice that Frosinone, a small city, that it's in the big stage, but they have I think they struggle. They struggle with the stadium. What do they have? A 10,000 seat stadium. No, I have no problem with 18 teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see real downside. I know that the argument is from two sides. It's from fans that say, "Oh, we're losing 4 games now a year," and the other argument from the smaller teams who are fans of the small teams saying, "Now you're going to go to Serie B, you're going to make less money." To me, it makes perfect sense because the team that's 20, 19, and 18 right now, I feel like there is a little bit of a cushion. Not that it's very easy, but if you make it to 18, 17, 16 that are fighting, those bottom 3 teams and even the teams above them are all going to look to be spending more money because it's going to be more competitive. They can say, listen, we need to invest more money into the league because we're going to go down and we're going to lose a lot more. And I think that that's important because if you look right now, 17, 18, 19, I think we could basically predict with the exception of 1 or 2. So teams that are between 10 and 16, let's say, they know that they're not going to go down. They know that they're not going to get Europe. They're in this nice cushion section. They're like, listen, we don't really need to spend that much money. If we achieve, good, awesome. If we don't, we're not going to get relegated. And I think that that's kind of like the death of where Serie A gets a little bit annoying because those teams don't have that much to play for, where if you cut 2 teams out, it's going to be more competitive in the chunk. So I'm not trying to say anything bad about Serie B teams, and I think it even will make Serie B more interesting because it's going to be a real dogfight, and everyone's going to have to deserve it. So that's the way that I see it.
Milan's going to be in real trouble if this.
I think in Serie B, they struggle to have 20 teams, right? What did they have?
They should have 22, I think.
Yeah, 22.
They almost
They
cut
were
it
gonna
too,
cut
I
it.
think.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the season,
What were you
right?
gonna say?
3 teams will still relegate.
They got 19 teams.
19?
Yeah, they got 19 teams. I think they struggled in the beginning of the season. They were going to go to...
Because they were supposed to get Vertisentella and all those other
they were
guys.
going to get
So
Ochoa,
they
and
kept
then
at
at
19.
the end, I think they started with maybe, and then at the end,
Yeah.
they
in
they
past,
cut.
it's been 22.
Yeah, I think if I didn't count...
What were you saying?
It's 19 teams.
What were you bringing up?
For the relegation with the 18 teams,
Oh.
it still remains 3 or 2 teams relegated?
I don't know.
It might
I would
be
do
cut.
3.
3.
Why?
Maybe-
Well,
maybe
that's a
two.
little
No, but I don't
it's
know.
gonna be 2.
But in Germany, what is it? Is it 3?
Oh, I don't
You
know.
wanna
I
check?
can-
Because that's 18.
16,
Why don't we do
Pete,
2
when
with
we
one
had
playoff?
16,
That'd
no,
be
when
nice.
we had 16, we always 3 relegated.
There was still 3 relegated. That's 1. And then 2, there's going to be a 3rd European competition coming soon.
Sure.
So that's going to be interesting from like 7 to 10 to see. Maybe the less games are going to help those teams also
They
because
need
they
to
don't
start
have enough
taking it
budget.
seriously too.
So-
Even Bologna announced that they're going to be making a stadium too, and it's going to be completed in like 5 years.
Two with one playoff.
Yeah, that's
2
what I said.
and a
2 with one
playoff. So there's still
we
3.
should do playoff. I like the Serie B playoffs.
They
They
fight to
were
the
very
death.
interesting
it's
to me.
It's entertaining.
I know it's not that fair, people say, but I think that it's good.
Well, depends on the points maybe.
Yeah. Mike, any good questions? Or
Before we finish with the Serie A, I wanted to say something about the Serie A. In the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, we had teams that were losing 3-0 and they came back. We had Roma, okay, that was winning 3-0, the team came back. We had Empoli that was winning 2-0 and they tied 2-2. And we had Juventus that was winning 2-0, was winning 3-1, and they came back to 2-3. So I think that's something positive about the teams and the Serie A, that there's, these teams, they come back. It's not over. Years ago, I remember, you were winning 3-0, the game is over.
They would bore it out.
Yeah. But now, shout out to Serie A that these teams are coming back.
I like that.
It
Shout out
was-
to
No, it's very, very, very funny to see people around the world start being like, what is this Atalanta in 5th place? How are they 1 point from Champions
it's
League?
pretty crazy.
And seeing like Zapata, players that, we all know about and we know how good they are, but some people are starting to learn who they are. I think it's great for Serie A. Mike, what's the one question we got?
Okay, we got a pretty good one. It's a 2-part question. I'm going to go with it. It says, is Zaniolo's Italy's biggest talent of the past years? And the second part was, who's the last player to have this much hype around him in the past during the Serie A? For the first part, I think we can all answer. For the second part, I feel like you 3 watched it longer than us, so you guys could put your input on that. But for the first part, I say yeah.
Past years, how
Please,
long?
Nakasano, Antonio Nakasano, please.
Yeah, please don't say him. But as a youngster,
You wish.
I don't remember the question was, is Zaniolo the best of the past year? That was the first part of the question?
up and coming talent. And
In terms of talents, to just go against the grain of that guy, I would say Totti, Cassano, Del Piero. That's it.
Those were the
Okay, we're not gonna argue that.
the rumored.
Actually,
I think-
Cassano, Totti, and Del Piero.
Zaniolo is the more interesting one to me. That's the more interesting part of the question.
I think the reason why Zaniolo is coming up now is because in the last few years we haven't had anybody that
Nothing.
really
Maybe.
got this excitement. This kid is bringing some exciting into the game, and I mean the kid. We have to wait, but he's unbelievable. I mean, the kid is cool. He's got skills. He's got speed.
Look at poor Peter over there. He's like, what are you telling?
Every word you said was like attacker. Like,
What does he have?
Do the sign of the cross, please.
Spalletti.
From the top first.
Yeah, that's what happened to Spalletti. I'm sorry, Spalletti, but you screwed up on this one. That's what I heard. I heard that Spalletti did not believe in Zaniolo. And
His face is
but there were
terrifying.
people that they saw this kid a year ago, and they said this kid is going to go places from the youth coach. And I'm not 100% sure, but if he would have said, "Hey, don't let this kid go," he wouldn't have let it go. And the reason why, because he wasn't, he liked so much Nainggolan that he tried, but. Anyway, so that's the excitement because we haven't seen anything in the last few years, and this kid, he could change. He could change a lot the way the national team plays too.
So is it more of the other players not performing as well, and
Yes.
him just being the bright
Yes.
spot, right?
You know,
Both.
maybe
That's
Spalletti, and what's his name, and Nainggolan, they go to the disco together. So that's why he wanted to get Nainggolan into Milan,
Maybe.
and then he sent Zaniolo back to Rome. Said, "Hey, come on, go eat a bunch of paninis down there." So,
But you guys agree with the rest, with the Totti, Cassano being the
definitely.
Definitely.
anyone else, or that's
Totti by far was probably the best, one of the better Italy
Youngsters
players.
or so?
What was the
youngsters.
question?
it was like
In
who was the
recent
last
years.
player to get this much hype when they were younger?
Oh,
I think that's a
okay.
very good
Because
question.
also Totti, he denied Real Madrid, and so I feel a lot of people they don't give enough credit to Totti. But if he was on a Real Madrid team, he would have a Ballon d'Or. He would be
Champions
just
League.
as much hailed as Messi and Ronaldo.
Hey,
This-
listen. Totti's got the one that everybody wants, though.
No, of
He's
course,
got
the World Cup.
So
No, for sure. But the thing is,
I
he
think
was
any player would
that
trade.
type of talent. And just if anybody has a chance to go see on YouTube, when he was in the younger days, not even when he was older, what he was able to do was unbelievable.
on the other hand, Cassano went to Real Madrid, but he refused to go to
Wow.
Juventus.
But what did he do
He
there?
refused to go to Juventus, but he could have won 10 campionati.
Yo,
but
what do
just,
Speaking, it just came to my mind. You think Ronaldo has what, 4 or 5 Champions Leagues?
Five,
I think
I
it's
think.
5, right?
Yeah.
4.
4 or 5. Okay,
Yeah,
either way,
whatever.
doesn't change my
Yeah.
my question. You think you would give up as a player 4 or 5 Champions Leagues for one
Yeah,
World Cup?
I would, 100%.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
You guys,
Peter?
Gaetano, you're not saying anything.
Ronaldo won the
Really?
Champions League, the
Not the
world
World Cup.
champion.
No,
No.
He won the
No.
Euro.
Oh, the Euro.
It's a big.
That's a different.
That's a big one too, though.
That's a big. Yeah, but World Cup.
Yeah, I know. I'm not
I
saying.
don't know.
it's not.
4 or 5 Champions League equates one World Cup.
Ask
I would
Messi
think
the
so.
same
I think
question.
Oh my
five
god!
would equate-
I would put 8 Champions Leagues
You
for a
think
World
so?
Cup. Yeah.
It depends.
It's too big.
It's different
A
for
wor-
everyone, though.
A
to be
world, but a
honest.
World Cup. Somebody, I stole this question
It's,
from somebody in an interview that had a few Champions Leagues, and they said that they would throw them out for a World Cup.
But
You
Marco,
know-
it's how you win it.
You know what it is? It's because it's for your country,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you hear the national
pride.
anthem, and there's so much pride. That's what makes the difference.
I agree with you. Yeah.
But even,
But Marco,
it's
it's
just
even
so
how
hard.
you win it.
It's not every
Oh,
year.
yeah.
It's every
Marco,
4 years.
It's even
You
how
have to
you
be
win
uniform.
it. How you win it.
Doesn't
Like
matter how
Italy
you win a
beats
World Cup.
Germany, they
Doesn't
beat
matter.
the best team on the world, and you get to the World Cup and you win.
Yeah.
That's how you win it too.
You're the only one who didn't answer. You think 4 or 5 World Champions Leagues for
Yeah,
World Cup?
I said
Oh, you
yes.
did? Oh, sorry. So Peter's the only one. Peter's the only one. I'm sorry.
No, I think World Cup, like you said, you have to be in form, not have an injury. Last a
team.
long time in your career. Because you don't just have that one World Cup
Yep.
and you win it.
Exactly.
Maybe 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
World Cups. It might take you a long. And there's so many players that never won.
And you don't play that many too in your career. You play a couple, 2,
Yeah.
3, right?
But I
maybe
mean, it's
4.
one of the dreams
No.
for every player to win a World Cup and to win the Champions League.
Yep.
Those are the 2 dreams that a
And
player
then
has.
they try to do it as a coach too. Very
I
few.
think very few players make it to 3 World Cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Very
exactly.
few.
No,
very,
you're
very,
right.
very few.
I mean,
3 maybe,
guys,
right?
it's many years, 12 years. Anyway, good episode. We got some good questions
Any
in.
other question,
Let-
Mike?
No, that's it. That's it. We got. I want to thank Peter, Gaetano, Mike, Antonio, Spalletti, Vanda, Piontek.
Are you taking these home, Anton?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with those at home? You're gonna practice in front of the mirror.
Hey.
Vanda.
Get me more money.
Antonio, we finally got you. We got to get you a Cassano one.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see this? Look at this. You cared about all these guys. You didn't even ask me about Cassano.
Wow.
You see that?
Something's up.
Anyway,
I think
for,
Piontek
Cassano, you forgot to do it.
Piontek.
What are you gonna say?
for our listeners, we need more listeners. We need more subscribers. So talk to your friends. Get us on board because we want to do big things here at IFTV.
Talking about that, today somebody sent us a tweet randomly, and his name is Marco. He's from New Jersey. He said, guys, will you play me in FIFA real quick? We had some time. We played him in FIFA. I remember I called you. I said hi. And we played him in FIFA. He said next time he wants to see you guys, one of you guys play FIFA.
Whoa.
He wants to hear you, or at least
I am real bad. I have no idea.
or at least commentate the match. They want you to be on.
Oh,
side.
yeah.
We
You
got
should
we
do
got we
that.
got to do some
Campione
content
del
like
mondo.
that. Antonio's gonna just look at the screen. No
Commentate.
Casano, not playing. Maybe we'll
No
add Vanda
Cassano,
again.
no party.
Anyway, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you rate the podcast with 5 stars. Subscribe if you are new. Follow us on our new Instagram at ItalianFootballTV. Antonio's itching to say something. Say
Which
it to
is
that.
at the bottom of the screen, right?
It's at the bottom.
Italian Football TV.
Yep.
And we're trying to gain, we're trying to get the old Instagram back, which was at IFTV.
Yeah,
right?
that doesn't
Okay.
matter.
That's what do you mean doesn't matter?
When we
Does
get
that
it back,
matter?
Yeah,
we'll
but they
say
can't search it right
when
now.
we get it back, we'll say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we get it back, we're gonna say
exactly.
it.
That's what I said.
So
Okay.
I hope you guys are having fun because I'm having a lot of fun.
You're definitely having
I'm gonna
fun.
prepare
Is
something
Vanda
special.
having fun?
I'm gonna prepare something special next week for my friend Pete. We're working on already.
boy.
Man,
So-
more than Wanda and Spalletti.
Oh, forget about it. You don't know what you.
He's gonna have a whole team over here
Okay,
in the
so
house.
Anto, you were very serious about this.
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you even asked me if I could edit your voice to be like a woman's voice for Vanda.
that's what I said. I said let's get a lady's voice. I said no, they're trying to make me. They're working
got a
on my
W.
voice.
You did a good
We got a
one.
Yeah,
you did it good.
I did good. All right. So
Any-
guys, keep watching us.
Yep.
Keep rating us with what? 5 stars.
5 stars.
And I'll see you next week.
See you guys. Thank you for
Ciao,
watching.
guys.
I'll get that one.
Nera come la tastiera